This SQL question actually came from a real interview. One of my subscribers faced this while interviewing at a fintech company and she got stuck. And trust me guys, it's not as simple as it looks. So I thought, why just help one person down for all of you, the entire Cyber analytics fan. If you are a fresher, analyst, or preparing for an interview, this question will test your filtering, grouping, and real data logic skills. Let's start with the data first. Imagine you're working in a fintech company, you have been given a table of user transaction. Here, what the table looks like in Excel. This table tracks all transactions made by user, and we are only interested in transaction where it is debit and amount it's more than 10,000. And each user made at least 2 such transactions in the same month. This is our requirement. So this output is clean and powerful. There are the users who did 2 or more big debits in the same month. For example, if 101 did it in Jan 15k and 20k, so it will come to the output. Who got excluded and why? Let's also talk about the who got excluded and why. User 103 made 2 debits, but both were less than 10,000. So it got excluded. Now let's see where the actual question came from. This is the actual email I received. That's why I decided to turn this into a complete SQL breakdown video, not just for her, but for everyone preparing for an interview. Let me first write down exactly what the interviewer asked. The amount should be greater than 10,000. And both transactions must be in the same month. And finally, the user must have done at least 2 such transactions. Alright, before diving into the scenario, let's first take a quick look at the table. This is how the transaction data looks. Very basic, but there are a lot of logic hiding in this. Here we have used user ID, transaction date, and the amount, and the transaction type as the result, or debit or credit. So this is the filter. And one more thing guys, I will be sharing this full table creation query and data inserting script in the description of this video. So after this video, you just scroll down and grab the SQL queries. You can copy paste and run in your MySQL to practice. Alright guys, now let's talk about the first approach to solve this question. This one is the simplest and cleanest we'll use. Simple group by with having clause. Here the SQL query I wrote. We first filter the table to keep only debit transaction. Then we use group by on user ID and the month of the transactions. So we can count how many such big debit transactions each user had in this month. And the magic is in the having count greater than equal to 2, which gives us only those users who did at least twice. And look the output. Boom! These user IDs came up on not 1, on not 2, on not 4, on not 5, on not 7. This is exactly what we saw earlier in the Excel table match. So our logic is working 100% and the SQL is super clean. Alright, that was the approach on group by and having. Next I will show you some alternative methods using inline subquery. So what we are doing here is, inside the from clause, I am writing a subquery. Then inside the subquery, I am projecting the user ID and month using date format. And on the top of the subquery, I am applying group by and outer query, and again having count greater than equal to 2. Okay, guys. This is like taking all the data cleaning and filtering inside the tiffin box and then eating it from the outside. One query inside another, but very efficient. Check out the output. It again exactly matching with the Excel result. We are getting 101, 102, 104, 105 and 107. That means our logic is working even without CTU or timetables. So that was approach 2 using inline subquery. Then I'm going to use third approach using the CTE. CTE is nothing but it's a common table expression. This approach is a bit of what I call a commutable explosion. Instead of writing messy joins of complex subqueries, we explored the logic into independent clean blocks using CTEs. It's like breaking a big bomb into small granites and throwing them smartly. Sounds funny, right? But but that's what CTEs exactly do. They help to simplify powerful logic into a readable chunks. A common table expression it's start using with. As take here. While we are using aggregate function here, so before aggregate function means name, max, count, whatever we are using. So that must be inside the group by clause. Let's group is grouped and also everything grouped. Not selecting everything because in our output query it's required only user ID and transaction month. In count I'll give an alias as CNT. Then put in while close. Consider it. Was a mistake. We again get the same user 101, 102, 104, 105, 107, which means 100% match with our Excel. So this was approach 3 using CT plus commutable explosion. Very useful when your interviewer wants clean, readable SQL or when you are writing multi-step transforms. In real project or dashboards, CTs are heavily used in tools like Power BI, Looker, Tableau because they help break complex logic into parts. So practice this mistakes. Now comes my favorite approach using window functions. And I must say to everyone this very clearly. If you are calling yourself a data analyst or preparing for an interview but you don't know window function, then you are missing 50% of SQL power. So learn it properly, learn it deeply. Today I will show you on example exactly how window function will work. So what we are doing here is magical. We are not doing group by directly. Instead, we'll use window function called row number or count over partition by, which help us count record without collapsing rows. See here. After this, we wrap this logic inside a subquery or CTE and simply filter those rows where transaction count greater than equal to 2. Boom. We get only those users who did at least 2 big debits in the same month. See, again the result is 101, 102, 104, 105, 107. Right? So you know what? This is like window function is having an Excel filter applied per user and per month, and it's counting its real time for each row. This approach is powerful, dynamic, and it makes your SQL look a pro work. You will see this analytics dashboards, finance reports everywhere. Alright, dosto, last approach, but not the least. This time we are taking the old school route by creating a temporary table. Yes, that's right. Paka hua SQL. We will create a temporary table, filter all the debit transactions above 10,000, store them safely like a secret file, and then query it to get our final output. Think of it like this: you are putting all the valid records inside a mini fridge. Yes, right? Mini fridge I mean temporary table. Then we'll open the fridge, check each user entries, and take only those with at least 2 delicious debits in the same month. Why temporary? Because we don't want to store it forever. Just enough to serve our SQL dish and clean the kitchen after. Here is the code here. First I create the temporary table. New high value debits I have given the name. And I just run it. And I call that table here. And here is the final output for our fridge logic: 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 107. So this was our approach 5 with temporary table. Old school, but gold school. If nothing works, this will always work. बस अब तो स्कूल का मास्टर चिप बन गया है वो. Alright दोस्तों, I hope now this question is crystal clear. We cracked it in 5 different ways from basic to pro level. If you found even one method helpful, do hit like, subscribe to the Sage Analytics. and share this with at least one friend who's struggling with SQL. See you in the next episode. See you in the next episode where we take it even deeper. Until then, keep learning, keep growing.